going on, y'all? This is JustBowlTv. Hey, we're here. I got my guy Austin with us.
What's going on with Just Bowl?
Anybody say grab the mic. But today, we're back in the pro shop, just having pro shop talk, and I wanted to discuss and pick your brains on when you're trying to select new equipment, what do you look for? Are you basing it off of cover stocks? Are you basing it off of a ball review that you watched and you like the way somebody threw it? What is it that catches your eye and makes you buy a bowling ball? So I got Austin. He wrote down some questions that he feels or what he goes through when he's trying to pick new equipment, and I'll kind of just give my feedback on, the right way, not right way, things to consider, things to keep an eye on. All
right, so the first question I got, pretty simple. What do you look for when you're buying some new stuff?
Like me personally?
Yeah.
Okay, so me personally, I'm a reaction freak. So I like anything with a lot of back end. I'm not too worried about how early it reads at first. I just like to see something always hook. Coming from somebody that didn't bowl with a thumb before, and I know you'll understand, when we used to throw stuff that wasn't drilled the best for us and it didn't hook, I would never throw it.
Right.
So that kind of engraved in my mind, as long as my ball moves, even if it's too much movement, I could trust that it was still going to move. And then that's kind of what got me into learning, surface changing. So that's what I look for. Reaction on the back end, how fast it exits, how fast it turns, how quick it flips. That's what I care about. What about you?
Well, with me, you're my guy, man. You always tell me the good stuff. But,
oh my God.
I mean, it is true, though. He does always tell me, like, man, this ball would look good in your hand. And especially with him coming from the no-thumb side, he has a good eye and he understands the numbers and stuff. But that leads me to my next question.
Okay.
Do you look at the numbers? RG, differential, do you look at that type stuff?
So at first, no. And I still from time to time don't, because that's a sense of science I ain't really tapped into correctly.
But
and
you're in it more than me, so you understand it.
I'm in it for the sake of curiosity, but it kind of almost complicates it for me anyway, because although I understand the difference in RG and diff, I know that layout and surface also plays a part. So just to answer the question, I particularly don't, but I can see that if somebody is able to correlate the numbers down to the reaction, how it could be a win and an advantage. I just haven't gone to that point of knowledge when I'm assisting like my friends or people that ask me to help drill something, how to correlate the numbers back. I mean, of course, I understand RG means how long or how clean it is or how it wants to carry down the lane, or with differential, how much torque or how much it wants to dig in, how much it flares. I understand that, but I just haven't gotten the sweet spot of
knowing what numbers you're looking for.
Or like how to say like this ball matches your game. Yeah, I just haven't gotten to that point yet. Okay. Do you look at that type of stuff?
I don't. I'm going to be honest. I'm not there yet. I'm not there.
So you just asked me?
Definitely.
Okay, for sure.
That's why I said this is my guy. So how important is it for you keeping your stuff clean before you go into a bowling alley?
Oh, wow.
Because I know you are real, like...
I'm a clean freak.
You are, especially with these things on the wall.
Yeah, I'm a clean freak. All right, so shout out to my guy Lawrence and Coach Vincent. They kind of taught me surface and how to prepare my equipment. I do believe that for repeatable and controllable performance, you have to try to keep your stuff as clean or as maintenance as possible. Now, that doesn't mean you have to always hit your stuff with a sanding pad. Shout out to CTD, Brunswick, Sayer, all that good stuff. You don't always have to, but I think it just helps.
Just take some wipes or...
Right, yeah. Shout out to Diablo Wipes, but shameless plug. But at the same time, I do think it helps, especially if you're bowling somewhere with a lot of oil and it's always kind of slick. If you have a fresh cover, that just helps it get its traction. Now, me personally, lately, I've been experimenting with not touching stuff that has like a shine on it, just to see, how long the ball lasts. But just overall, I do think it's good and a good practice to clean your stuff, even if it's a wipe down with a spray or a scuff pad or a little bit of a sanding pad. If you do, up to you, but I do think it's good practice. Do you clean your stuff?
You do.
I do. Why don't you maintenance your stuff after we bowl? Why not? Is it just that it passes your mind? You just don't think about it?
Laziness, honestly. Probably just lazy. And then if anything, I'll just bring it to my guy. Door's always open, so.
I'm gonna start closing that door.
Nah.
That's bad. You need to clean your own stuff.
Pretty bad, huh? Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Maybe we're gonna do a video teaching you how to clean your own stuff.
Let us know if y'all want to see that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Munching off of me.
Whatever. What do you look for with cover stocks when you're buying bowling balls? Or is it just okay? I know how you like your bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I like my bag.
a certain way
Yeah.
for each bag that you have.
Mm.
So do you look for when you're ready to replace something, or you just want to try something new? Do you look for something just to replace that ball, or do you want a different look from that area in your bag?
That's some good questions.
Sorry.
You've been on a roll.
Hey.
So, the way I like to do my bag is 2 solids, 2 pearls, 2 hybrids.
ASIM.
Yeah, ASIM and SIM. When it comes down to cover stocks, it's one of those like a gray area type of things because I've seen some solids move like hybrids, and I've seen hybrids move like solids, and pearls move like everything else, and vice versa. So, to answer the question, when I look at like a solid ASIM, I'm looking at something that is hungry, like something real traction based, something that digs really early. It's like a really big ball, can handle the extremes of oil if I ever see it. Mm-hmm. Now on the flip side, I've learned with myself, and which is the basis of this conversation, when it comes to putting balls in certain categories or having them do certain jobs, pearls for me, I feel as if I should stick in cleaner pearls and not early ones or big aggressive pearls because I like my pearls to be slingshots. Mm-hmm. So with me personally, when it comes down to cover stocks, because each cover stock, solid, hybrid, and pearl has different levels of strength. Mm-hmm. So like there's like earliness or weakness, which is length. So just because it's an ASIM solid doesn't mean that it's the most aggressive on the market. Like,
is that when you would look at numbers?
Yes. And then also just watching ball reviews, shout out to Charles at the Hype, and just kind of, you kind of can look at a ball and just tell, like, also, like, if you look at an Extreme Envy, but then you look at a clone, mm-hmm. you can obviously see one sanded, one has polished, which means automatically
one's going to be earlier than the other.
Bink, come on, boy, you know something. Hey. So, I look at stuff like that. So with pearls, I like to stick with, right now, the way I'm experimenting, ASIM pearls that are really clean so that I can have that extra help with the extra piece of the block. Hybrids, I like to kind of be more of that middle piece to where they blend the oil and I can move in a little bit and they still shape. And solids, I kind of want to play the straightest I can get them. But it just depends on everybody's game because when I didn't have a thumb, I played everything everywhere. Right. I didn't really have like a box. But now that I have a thumb, I don't have a box, but I have to kind of tailor things to help me with the certain areas. Because, like, and because you get a lot of carry, no thumb carry, where you can throw everything and it kind of does the job no matter what, as long as the lanes permit. So, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to put your bag together, but you just want to be balanced all the way through. And I think you can understand this, too, with, like, the way your bag is. You have your solid absolute power at the moment, which is taking the place of your big ball, but it still has the motion, doesn't burn up. And then you have your high road, the OG, where
and the Ruby,
Ruby, and then you have the Envy Tour. So you have the pieces. You got the speed. So you just see, and as a bowler yourself, you learn your characteristics. You learn what you like, what you don't like. If you want something to move a lot, then you get bowling balls that probably store a lot of energy. If you like things that are a little slower, more smooth, you get stuff that's earlier, a little bigger, more aggressive. So that's just kind of what it goes down to. It's not so much of is there a template, it's more so just what fits you and what you like and what appeases your eye and your game. And whatever helps you score is really what you should throw in general. Really.
All right. A couple more questions for you, man. Do you look at brands? Like, are you only such and such brand? I know you, but
so no, because I'm not on
Understood.
You feel me? I'm not on staff with anybody besides
looking?
12 Bagger. Shout out to 12 Bagger for all the great merch. But and Strike 10 Pro Shop, which we're in right now.
Definitely.
But when it comes to brand, there's nothing wrong with being like
Only this
brand loyal. There's nothing wrong with it. Especially as a consumer, you the one spending the money. You throw whatever you want to throw. Just understand every brand has certain characteristics. And it's going to be different through everybody's eyes. But to me, and I think you can attest as well, like Storm stuff, normally stores a lot of energy, is really long and snappy. Majority of the time, besides a few pieces. And even some of their higher pieces, I mean, their stronger pieces are still quick. Whereas like Motive just hooks a lot.
Right.
It just hooks a lot no matter what. Even the stuff that's clean still hooks a lot. Hammer has a good mix. And like Brunswick, just like Track, Columbia, Ebonite, they have a good mix as well, but they're normally a little earlier in general. So I'm not brand loyal, but it does help kind of keeping your eye on the different brands and their characteristics, so that when you're looking for certain pieces, you can almost spotlight the brands for what they're known for. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking for a big ASIM that's early, then, you know, you could look at Hammer, you could look at Brunswick, you could look at Motive. And Storm may not have what you're looking for your eye. They have strong stuff like the Gem, the Magic Gem, but it may just not fit your eye. Whereas if you're looking for a slingshot reaction, you may not look at a Motive ball or a Hammer ball or something. You might look into Storm because to you, Storm makes cleaner, snappier stuff. So just to answer, no, I'm not brand loyal. I think everybody right now has a lot of good product out because it's like 1,000 gajillion bowling balls out anyway. But, you know, even if you do focus on one brand, you're not lacking in any avenue. Every brand right now has a really good selection of bowling balls. Like, your Absolute Power looks amazing. And at the same time, you know, Eric's Exotic Gem looks good, you know, for being a two-hander. And then, so it just depends. But, no, I'm not brand loyal. But it does help you save money if you stick to one brand. Unless it's Brunswick, because you spending money every month on good stuff. So
yeah, facts. All right, one more for you, man. You travel a lot, right?
I do.
Okay.
I'm on that road.
So, would you or do you buy certain balls for certain areas? Like, do you look for, you know, if you go to Vegas, how they play? Would you either just tailor your equipment to Vegas, or do you have balls that's like, that's my Vegas bag? Or do you just buy stuff for your own house? Like, how do you tailor your bag for traveling? And
I'm gonna ask you, do you tailor your stuff?
I don't travel as much as you, so that's not really as valid.
But when you did travel, or even when you bowl league in different houses, do you tailor your stuff to different houses?
No.
You don't.
But that's probably
that's
probably from not traveling as much, not knowing what I'm getting into at the time.
Right.
But Vegas, I know how that played for me, so I know
moving forward.
I would probably change surfaces before I go again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So yes, to a certain extent though. If you bowl in like 3 different houses in your city, you may not have to tailor as much. Just depending on how high and low the differences are. For instance, if like the house we're in right now, the shot's been very inconsistent. Shout out to Bolero. So with that being said, when I come in, I have a super strong ball, a super weak ball, and a few fillers just in case to see what will match up that day.
Over, under.
Right, but then I also bowl at another center in town that's just built, just redone. The panels don't hook as much, so there's not as much help. I may take stronger, earlier, or cleaner, bigger stuff just to, you know, highlight the lows or whatever. As far as a tournament bag, I absolutely do believe everybody should have a tournament bag or make a tournament bag in some way, because a lot of times we get so accustomed to our home house and we think that our home house is everything. And I know when I first started traveling, like, you know, within my first 2 years, I made the mistake of thinking that because I could shoot 230 at home, I could shoot 230 everywhere else.
Right.
And that ain't how it
Big
goes.
mistake.
That's not how it goes. You get a nice slice of humble pie. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that you're not good enough. It's just that you get handicapped to what you're used to. A lot of times, normally, it plays the same to a certain extent. It might be a little bit more oil somewhere else. So instead of you playing, through 18, you may have to go to like 14 or 15, and that's a big enough move for a lot of people.
It is.
So just as far as putting together a bag, absolutely. If I'm going out of town, like I'm going to Chicago soon, I'll probably take 2 bags. I'm flying, and in that 2-bag 6-ball, arsenal, I'm gonna have an array of overly strong just in case, and I'm gonna have a good middle, and then even on the lower end, I'm gonna make sure that it still can handle oil, just in case being up north has more oil than I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
I may touch surfaces a little bit, and I may take pads with me just in case.
Right.
But you just kind of also just get back to the original reason of the video. You got to know yourself. You got to know what you work well with. You got to know what plays into your wheelhouse. Somebody like you,
with your stuff.
Yeah, somebody like you with no thumb and you already being so accurate and consistent and accurate at times. You don't have to do a lot of altering. You just have to be in the right ball. Mm-hmm. You can kind of, as y'all know, without a thumb, you get a lot of forgiveness when you are in the right place. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to do as much altering. Me with a thumb now, if I'm in the right ball, I get a lot of forgiveness. If I'm in the wrong ball, I have to be perfect, And that doesn't matter how much skill or practice, you just don't know sometimes. So I think having a tournament bag or certain bags for certain situations is a good thing, which is why it's good to have more than one ball. You don't have to have 20 different bowling balls, but to have a good array of 5 to 6 bowling balls is good. Mm-hmm. So that way you can deal with the extremes, the super lows, and then all the mushy in the middle. And it's like I said, there's a lot of good stuff out that you can kind of tailor each ball to that, which is why I think, was that your last question? Mm-hmm. Which wants to bring me to my point. Be careful or be mindful when you're buying stuff. Everything or every ball can't fit every spot in the bag. So for instance, like he has a high road pearl. Yeah, he has a high road pearl. He can't throw the OG pearl on fresh all the time.
Nope.
It's too clean. It doesn't catch up in time, or he may throw it through the break point. Whereas at the same time, what's a ball? He can't always throw the speed because it's so aggressive. It has a lot of surface,
Nice
so
and early.
Bingo. So, you just have to be careful when you're looking. If you're somebody that throws a ball really fast, you may not need a lot of clean stuff or the max extreme clean. You may need more middle of the road, like sanded stuff, a 3D offset. You may want a Hustle USA, an Envy. Yeah, you may want to stick with like the middle road stuff, because with that much speed, normally matches a good amount of a rev rate, and you don't want to throw something super clean. You may never see the spot.
You just blow the spot up.
Right, but then at the same time, if you have a lot of hand, but you're on a slower speed, then you may need.
You don't need a jam.
Bingo, because then at that point it's just super tumbly and it overtakes because you don't have the speed to get down. So you just kind of got to
fit your game to certain equipment.
Bingo. So you just got to really get with your PSO. Pro shop operator, and just really be honest with yourself. I learned really fast. I want everything to hook. I had a good amount of speed, a good amount of hand, so I was on an even playing field, and I understood layouts. Mm-hmm. So, and I do know as well, layouts make all the difference. Layout and surface is the two biggest things, because you could get a bad ball, or you can get a ball that you probably shouldn't have and still get it laid out and put a surface on it that could work. So just pay attention to that.
The same ball, put the wrong layout on it, and it don't work, and then
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And even with that though, which spins it back to the tournament bag, just because you get a ball, you think the drill is good and the surface is good, and it doesn't look good at your home. Yeah. It may look great. It might look great out of town. So, sometimes you have those outliers where it's like, bro, I've tried everything I can.
I can't throw this at home.
Right. Like, it just hooks too much at home, and then you take it out of town, and it's like the perfect ball.
Yeah.
So
happens.
Don't just give up on anything too quick. But, yeah, at the end of the day, man, buy equipment. If you got the money, splurge how you want, but just be cautious. We're gonna follow up this episode with some more episodes as far as breaking it down from solid to hybrid to pearl. We're gonna highlight each one and kind of explain which tier fits certain people and which balls fit certain bowlers. We'll probably highlight him a little bit more, having no thumb, because his range of bowling balls is a little bit more extensive. He has higher highs and lower lows with his rev rate. But yeah, just let us know in the comments if y'all like this video, what you want to see, what questions you may have about certain bowling balls, layout, surface prep. We're gonna teach him how to clean his stuff because I'm tired of him bothering me. But appreciate Austin for coming out, having some questions for me today. We're in the pro shop. Go to yours, talk to some people. Shout out to 12 Baggers. Shout out to Strike 10 Pro Shop. That Mr. Haywood, Austin checking out JustBowlTv.